So today we are going to take a little field trip in Minecraft, and I really want to show you how you all can use Minecraft even after school is over. You can take a field trip any day you like and study the things that you want to study, the things that interest you most. And so the way I'm going to do this today is I'm going to show you a little bit about what we're going to do, or I'm going to tell you about how you're going to do, I should say, at the end of today's lesson. Um, and then we'll take a look at a really cool safari. We're going to go on an extinction safari today. The first thing I'm going to do is show you the animal I've created, and you all are going to create an animal at the end of today's lesson, at the end of our field trip. And so, what we're going to be talking about today is animals that go extinct, that have gone extinct, that were here at one time, but since man has been on Earth, those animals have gone extinct. And I'd like for you to think about what type of animal you might create, an imaginary animal that you might think of that lived on Earth, but that during man's time has gone extinct. And as we look at today's lesson, you can start thinking about maybe how it would have defended itself. The one I've created here is a bird. It's kind of got like the tail feathers of a peacock, maybe that sort of thing. It's got antlers that it may have defended itself with. It's a big, tall bird with big, long legs. Maybe it used to kick things with those long legs or something like that. And this is the animal I've created. And the world that I've built it in is called the Design Your Own Animal, Create Your Own Animal world. There's a bale of hay and a little thing of water it can eat. But this is the animal I've created. And I show it to you because I want you to think about the animal that you will create at the end of today's lesson and at the end of today's field trip. And so the field trip we're going to go on today is in the library of lessons that you have access to. Once you click on that library, you'll see that there are four different selections here that you can use. There's the monthly build challenges. Every month, Minecraft provides some cool challenges, things that you might try to build to have a lot of fun doing. This little thing, Eric explains how to play. If you've never played Minecraft, this will kind of explain some of the intricacies. The biomes and worlds are where you will find areas that you can build and do free building, work creatively in worlds that are designed around oceans or deserts, or maybe that's frozen tundra. We're going to look, though, at the lessons they have. And you can see the lessons are divided here into these 9 different categories that cover lots of different fun things that you may have been experiencing in school or may have missed out on and wish you could have gotten a little more of. And so there's science, math, computer science, art and design, history, language arts. The digital citizenship is really neat. There's the social emotional lessons, and then this equity and inclusion. This has some really cool stuff in it. The one we're going to go on today, the field trip we're going on, and the lesson we're going to look at is in our science area, and specifically, it's this extinction and biodiversity crisis. And the one we're going to look at in this area is this extinction safari. This is a really cool lesson. Now, all of these lessons that you have access to, and believe me, there are hundreds across lots of different topics that you would have interest in. You'll find that there's lesson plans where you can literally find resources that'll help you understand what you can do a little better, or maybe find some other areas that you can find support information that goes with that lesson that you're learning about. To start the lesson or to start that world, we're just going to click create world, and that's going to open that world up for us and allow us to start exploring in this really cool extinction safari. This safari is really fun. We're going to take a roller coaster, if you will, through time, going back into time. And what I want to do during this lesson is show you how you can access these lessons and how you can use these to create your own field trips anytime. So first of all, we're going to start in this. It starts us off in this cave. It's kind of cool. Got spider webs and a fire going. And we've got a couple of NPC players, those non-player characters that we can talk to that are going to tell us a little more about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. I want to point this out too. This is the reader that will help if you recognize there are some words maybe you don't know and that you don't understand. You can always click for assistance, and these little buttons will bring up the reader that will allow that NPC character to tell you and talk directly to you.
Welcome to Extinction, a biodiversity crisis. This project was developed in partnership with World Wildlife Fund. Explore this exciting new Minecraft world created by NatureBytes, as well as lessons designed to help you understand biodiversity and its importance to our planet's past and future. Onward.
All right. We click this little back button and that takes us back to where we were. And then we can talk to this scientist here. And the same thing, we can first listen to the immersive reader.
Welcome to Extinction Minecraft Safari. You are now about to see some of the most charismatic species that have lived throughout human history, but are no longer roaming the earth. Ride the roller coaster back through time and discover how different species have been lost forever.
Again, we'll click back, and that takes us back here. And now we can see we've got a watch video. Often there'll be a link here that says learn more or watch a video where you can find out more information about whatever that specific topic is.
Welcome to Extinction, a biodiversity crisis. My name's Andy Purvis. I'm a professor at the Natural History Museum in London, and I'm a biodiversity scientist. What is biodiversity then? Well, it's the diversity among genes, among species, and among ecosystems. And we depend on it for pretty much everything. Unfortunately, all those aspects of biodiversity are in decline. One of the most obvious ways that biodiversity is declining is that species are dying out. Since 1500, we've wiped out nearly 700 species of vertebrate. And now, around 1 million species are estimated to be threatened with extinction because of human actions. You're about to embark on an exciting extinction roller coaster through time. You'll witness some of the most charismatic species that we've ever shared the planet with, from the saber-toothed tiger, which we wiped out a few thousand years ago, to Lonesome George, the last Pinta Island giant tortoise, who died as recently as 2012. You'll get to discover what these amazing species looked like, how they once lived, investigate why they disappeared, and what it means for us today, given how much we depend on nature. And you get to figure out what you can do to stop the biodiversity crisis. Best of luck.
All right. And I apologize if you can hear my dogs in the background there. All right. So we're going to exit out of that. And that takes us back to our Minecraft here. And then we're going to continue on with our safari. So whenever there's a roller coaster or something like that that you can access, we're going to take a look at the little chest here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of these little mine carts in here. These are the mine carts that you're going to use. And just in case something happens and I break one, because if you're familiar with Minecraft, you know sometimes that happens. All right. So I've got my mine carts in here. I'm going to place one on the cart. I'm going to right click to get into it. And then I'm going to press this button to start my journey. And that's going to start us on this really cool roller coaster ride. Now, as we go through the roller coaster ride, you're going to see we're kind of going back through this, over this great expansive space that they've created that goes way back into all these different directions. And we can start to see on the horizon different types of fossils and sculptures that they've created to show us about these different types of animals that have gone extinct during man's time here on Earth. Look at that. That's awesome. It's a big mammoth way off in the distance. So again, as you all are going through these lessons, you're going to find something that you really enjoy, that's really interesting to you. And then once you start into it, they're going to have amazing resources that you can take a look at and learn from and really expand on your understanding of whatever that thing is that already interested you to begin with. Now, as we go through, we're going to learn about these different animals by coming to these different stations and talking to these different experts. The first one we're going to learn about is the saber-toothed cat. And we can take a look and there's an image of what one would have looked like. That's really cool. There'll be information like an image of the skull. Look how large his, how wide his mouth had to open to be able to accommodate those large teeth. This is a close-up view of a saber-toothed cat head on display at the museum. In each of these worlds, you can actually drop down if you wanted to into this area and actually go explore around this ginormous, wonderful sculpture they've created and take a look inside of the mouth of that thing if you liked. It's absolutely amazing. But for every one of these characters or every one of these pieces of information, there's going to be an NPC character who can always tell you a little more.
23 million to 10,000 years ago, the saber-toothed cat and other giant animals lived in the American grasslands. At the end of the Ice Age, the changing climate caused massive changes to the ecosystem. These changes and hunting by humans is believed to have caused the saber-toothed cat to go extinct.
It's always going to be man's fault when these things go extinct. That's what we'll be learning a whole lot. It's very often got to do with us. And so we'll learn about the saber-toothed tiger. And you can see it had some those big, powerful jaws. It had a way to defend itself. And still, we were able to wipe it out. All right. I'd like for you to think about those animals that you're going to create later on. And what kind of features would they have? Would they be herbivores eating only those vegetables, or those carnivores that eat only meat, or maybe those omnivores that eat a little bit of everything? Look at that giant mammoth way off in the distance. I can't wait to see it. Oh, wow. We're approaching some sort of big elk-like thing. And just like the other little stations, we're going to learn more about the elk. I'm going to get out a little cart and go over. Let's first take a look at the skeleton. That's cool. This is an Irish elk, the Megalosaurus giganteus. This is why Mr. Mcguire went into art and not science. It's too difficult to pronounce those things. The skeletal reconstruction. Let's take a look at what would have looked like. That is amazing. Look how huge those antlers are. Let's take a look again at that sculpture and see how it compares. Unbelievable. All right, now let's talk to our scientists to find out a little bit more.
The Irish elk was one of the most abundant deer that ever lived. Many scientists argue that factors like environmental change, virulent disease, and hunting by humans wiped out many large mammal species during the end of the European Ice Age, including the Irish elk.
And again, humans wiping out these animals, hunting. Sometimes we do it because they interfere with the crops we're raising, or the habitat that we would like to occupy is the one they currently are occupying. So lots of different reasons that man sort of enacts the extinction on those animals. Again, I love these wonderful sculptures that help us really understand what these things would have looked like, what they would have been like. I've never been on a real safari. This may be as close as I'll ever get to a real safari. If you've ever built roller coasters in Minecraft, you know that the developers who created this really took a lot of time and did a great job. It's amazing how it winds back through all these amazing little hillsides. And look at this cool desert space over here on the left. There's a rhinoceros way over in the distance. We can see that now. I think we're about ready to learn more about this mammoth. Kind of excited. We've been watching it for several minutes now. We've gone through this tour. Let's see what it is we're looking at. Wow. How beautiful. A cave painting of one. The woolly mammoths. These were near Somme River. How amazing. And then we can take a look again, I should say, at that sculpture and look at those huge tusks and how they're represented from that image, from that mural. Awesome. And once again, let's talk to our scientists. What do they have to say about it? Wonder what caused them to go extinct.
The woolly mammoth was a commonly found animal during the last ice age. Then 10,000 years ago their numbers began to dwindle before eventually becoming extinct. Some believe that a poor habitat as a result of climate change, combined with increased hunting by humans, led to their extinction.
Increased hunting by humans. Who would have guessed it? And each of those, you probably saw there's that little learn more button. You can always go and learn more at the Encyclopedia Britannica. That's where it takes you to the Britannica website. You can always make sure that you see the sign moving forward that lets you know that you're going in the right direction and that you're not going to back up and go look at a display or a fact that you've already experienced. All right. Now we're going through this really cool desert area. I can't wait to get over and see that. Looks like a rhino over there. Now it looks like we're coming up on some type of big ostrich. This reminds me of Up, if you ever saw the movie Up. Wow, that's huge. Now, when we built in the classroom for this lesson, we would build with these types of pieces and build these cool skeletons. If you came into the VLA field trip world, you may have seen our big old dinosaur bones, that skeletons that are erected. This is a restoration of the Dinornis. I don't think I'm saying that right. Robustus and Pachyornis elephantopus. Again, this is why Mr. Mcguire went into art. All right. And I love taking a comparison and looking at how these sculptors that built these beautiful pieces of art in Minecraft represent the skeletons that we see that were in museums that they work from. This definitely reminds me of Up. Right there is I wish I could remember the researcher's name who looked for that bird for so long. Let's learn more about why this bird went extinct.
The moa was a flightless bird endemic to New Zealand. It reached about 12 feet in height with neck outstretched and weighed about 230 kilograms. New Zealand had been isolated for 80 million years and had few predators before human arrival. All of the moa were soon driven to extinction between 1300 to 1440 by hunting.
Here we go again, hunting. And it said 230 kilograms. We don't often really think about kilograms, but that's about 550 pounds, I believe. I'm not really good at the measurements there, English to metric, but I believe that's well over 500 pounds. All right, let's see what the next amazing animal that we destroyed, most likely. And we take these cool tunnels through the trees. It's kind of neat. Again, if you haven't had an opportunity to play in Minecraft, it's a fantastic place to learn to sculpt. I like to make sculptures, and working in a three-dimensional space is not easy to understand. I don't know how that car got in front of us. But Minecraft is great for understanding that three-dimensional space in a two-dimensional screen. I'm going to break that thing if I can. It's going to get in our way. Oh, wow. That's kind of like a big manatee. If you've ever been to Florida, you may have seen the manatees down there. Let's learn more about what this fella is. First of all, let's take a look at the pictures. The skull of a stellar sea cow. A sea cow. Yep, looks a whole lot like a manatee. only these were huge. Look how big these were. Several feet long, I mean, several times longer than a man is tall. Let's learn more about the sea cow.
Steller's sea cow was a huge sea cow discovered in 1741. It was found in the Bering Sea between Alaska and Russia. It was quickly wiped out by fur traders and seal hunters for food and to collect its valuable fat. 27 years after it had been discovered, the species was extinct.
Wow, only 27 years. Highly valued for its skin, that fat, man. Didn't last long. Beautiful animal. Really cool. If you've ever been again to Florida and seen the manatee, you know they call them those big sea cows, but they are all over the harbor. You can watch them roll over, and they'll let you rub their belly sometimes. They're really very sweet animals. Oh, we're going through this very snow-covered area, like a tundra, and it looks like we're approaching some cool penguin of some kind. How neat is that? It's got long legs for a penguin, doesn't it? Generally, we think of penguins as little short-legged birds, but man, he looks like a tall penguin. All right, he was the basketball player penguin, maybe. All right, let's take a look at those. Well, I don't know that his legs look any longer than a regular penguin, do they? The Great Auks. So it's not really a penguin at all, is it? By James Audubon. And Audubon was one of my favorite artists. He was a naturalist. He used to do all these beautiful bird paintings. This is the skeletal specimen. Oh, okay. So I see, even though his legs went way up into his body kind of comes down and covers him all his feet. Probably like a modern day penguin. This information on the back sides of these is generally related to the licensing of the images. The great auk eating a fish. That's awesome. All right, let's talk to the expert and find out a little more.
The great auk was very common in the North Atlantic. Around 1800, the species was under serious threat because of excessive hunting. The bird was large, meaty, and easy prey. The last pair were killed in 1844 and proves that uncontrolled hunting can wipe out a species in a short space of time. The great auk was very common.
That sure does say that you can wipe it out in a short amount of time, doesn't it? Seems like as soon as we discover some of these animals, it doesn't take us long to put an end to them. All right. Again, if you noticed, I was pointed backwards, and I want to make sure I'm pointing forwards. I can see my sign. Anytime you're using these lessons and going through some type of walkthrough like these, I call them walkthroughs, even though we're on a roller coaster. Sometimes you walk through it. Sometimes you take a roller coaster or some type of tram through them. But always make sure you're headed in the right direction. It's easy to get turned around sometimes. Uh-oh. That is really neat. It looks like a horse. Being in horse country, this is going to be really interesting. Wow, how beautiful is that? Looks like whatever kind of horse this was or animal this was, it was sort of two-toned. Looked like it was orange on top and mostly white towards the bottom. Let's find out a little more. What are we looking at here? This is a quagga, the Equus quagga quagga. I kind of like that name. Extinct subspecies of the zebra. So you can see he's got like a zebra head and a donkey tail, donkey on the backside. Look at that. What an enormous head. Look how big his head is compared to the rest of his body. Wow, absolutely beautiful. I think that'd probably be a great work animal. I'm surprised that we let those go extinct. Let's find out a little more.
The quagga was a plains zebra that lived in South Africa until becoming extinct late in the 19th century. The quagga's extinction is attributed to hunting and planned extermination. Wild grass-eating animals such as the quagga were perceived as competitors for their sheep and livestock.
And again, we talked about this earlier on. Sometimes it wasn't just that they were predators or that sort of thing, but they may have interfered with, uh, they maybe tried to eat the stuff that farmers were growing, or were predators to the animals that farmers were growing, or raising. So there's lots of different reasons. Sometimes the habitat of these animals was destroyed, environmental changes, and we're all becoming more acutely aware of how environmental changes impact the world around us. Look at that thing. Absolutely beautiful. It's a shame to see these amazing and awesome creatures that have all gone extinct. I love that they have these little teaser areas where we can see off the distance we're going to do something really neat and see something really cool soon. Ooh, up ahead are the jaws of something big. I wonder what that is. And again, through all of these, you can drop down. They have the ladder so you can come back up. But if you wanted to, you could go and explore into that big skull. You could learn more about this animal, which is Mammals of Australia, John Gould illustration. That's cool. What is it we're looking at? Last known thylacine, photographed at Baramus, uh, Bomers, excuse me, Zoo in 1933. Wow, what an amazing looking animal. Take a look at its skeleton. The size of its teeth. All right, let's learn a little more about him. Why did he go extinct? Oh, no, I clicked on the Learn More button there, and they'll take you to the Encyclopedia Britannica information about these different animals. So if you want to learn more, you're more than welcome to check those things out. They have a lot of great resources. It's fantastic if you're doing some sort of research project for a class. This is a great place to come and do that research. It's a lot more fun than searching through the Dewey Decimal System looking for your books at the
The
library.
thylacine, commonly known as the Tasmanian tiger, survived into the 1930s on the island of Tasmania. Multiple factors led to its extinction, including competition, habitat loss, and extinction of prey. They were credited with numerous sheep attacks, which led to a cull to control their numbers.
And that cull means that man tried to get rid of them intentionally. And again, they talk about the habitat loss of prey. A lot of animals will end up going extinct if environmental changes lead to their prey no longer exist and they have nothing to eat. All right. Again, make sure I'm going the right direction. Let's continue on. Wow. Again, I love these amazing sculptures. Guys, let your artistic juices flow as you think about what type of animal will you create? What will your animal that's gone extinct, what will it be? Will it be a fish of some kind, a bird? Will it be some type of mammal? Is it going to be something in that rhinoceros family? Look at the size of that. Absolutely beautiful. I like they gave him a big smile. He's a happy one, a happy rhino. And again, this is probably as close to a rhinoceros as I will ever get. That's one of the reasons I like these Minecraft lessons, is they really get to allow us to experience something we might not otherwise get to experience. This is the skull of a female black rhino we're looking at here. Wow, look how thick and heavy that skull is. What a big, majestic animal. Whoop, whoop. Just about went down in the drop down area. That's a photograph of the black rhinoceros. Let's learn a little more.
The western black rhinoceros was a subspecies of the black rhinoceros. It lived in the savanna of sub-Saharan Africa. Poaching is partly responsible for bringing the species close to extinction, along with farmers killing rhinos to defend crops and trophy hunting. It was declared extinct in 2011.
And that trophy hunting is one of those things that really is a shame. You know, people just killing these animals for no good reason other than just to have that trophy, that symbol that they did that. All right, we're going to continue on. Again, what a beautiful animal. Now we're going to start winding our way back to, well, we saw those domes. If you notice way off the distance, they had those big sort of rounded domes. And those domes are places where we can take a look at the different biospheres or different types of ecosystems that exist for these different types of animals that have gone extinct. Oh, look at that. What an amazing turtle sculpture. Again, these things you can drop down, you can walk around by his feet, you can go underneath of that if you wanted to. You can explore every single inch of this world. It's really cool. I highly recommend. You can take hours and go through this. And again, this is just one of the hundreds of lessons. This is Lonesome George, the last Pinta Island tortoise. Look at Lonesome George. And I think Lonesome George moved around. They had him in several places. Here he is at the Charles Darwin Research Station. And I think there's another picture of him somewhere else. Oh, a dead specimen. Oh, how shame. What a shame. Let's learn a little more.
Pinta Island tortoises used to be abundant in the Galapagos Islands. They were almost wiped out by sailors and pirates who hunted them in the 1800s and 1900s. After the hunting ceased, new animals introduced to the area overgrazed the lands until the tortoises lost their natural habitats.
And again, talking about the overgrazing, the change in the habitat, the environmental changes that caused that loss of food. So, what's one of the things that led to their extinction? All right. And making sure I'm going forward. Again, I want to kind of look at that as we go away because I think that's an awesome sculpture. I think I'm going to come back and just play around underneath and see if I can climb around on it. It's really cool. Now we're going to go over and take a look at these different environments and these different ecosystems. All right. It says place your used minecart there. And again, whether you are taking a tram or on foot, make sure you're always going in the right direction. If you hit the W twice, you sort of jog, if you will. All right. So let's talk to the biome expert, help desk expert here and see what they have to say.
Welcome to the Biodiversity Lab. Explore all that you see. Each featured biome and endangered species presents a different aspect to the wonderful world of biodiversity, from the smallest level, genes, to species, to ecosystems, to biomes, and how we and all species are connected across the world.
So we're going to take a look at these different biomes. And as we do, think about that animal that you might create. And which of these biomes would it most likely exist in? So let's first take a look at this one. Where are we? Well, the expert's going to tell us. The mountain biome.
Snow leopards are top predators in mountains of Central Asia. An ecological niche refers to a species' place in an ecosystem and the role it plays. They primarily hunt herbivores and play an important role in regulating and controlling overgrazing of alpine plants, which are important for other species.
And then we're going to take a look and see if we can see a snow leopard over here. If you've ever been to the zoo, like in Cincinnati or Louisville, this is how a zoo trip goes. You come to the habitat, and the leopard is always on the other side, or he's in the cave taking a nap. Oh, I see some movement over on the left-hand side. There he comes. There he is. The snow leopard's over there on the left. And in these worlds, one of the cool things is if you want to get a better look, unlike the regular zoo, you can't go running around the things in the regular zoo. But the Minecraft area, you can come get a better look at that amazing snow leopard. Wow, these are absolutely beautiful. How cool. So you can kind of take a look at this mountain biome and how those animals exist in that biome. All right, let's take a look at our next ecosystem here. Ooh, this is cool. You can climb around on these little mountains. That's pretty neat. All right. Ooh, this is neat. Oh, I threw out a mine cart. Didn't mean to do that. The aquarium. This is beautiful. Tropical fish. All right. Let's see. How do we get over to the... Well, maybe I'm missing how we get to that person. Ah, the gate. Always look for a gate. Sometimes I don't always see them in Minecraft. All right, here we go. Let's learn a little bit more about this world.
Hawksbill turtles help maintain a healthy coral reef and are a fundamental link to the maintenance and function of various species in coral reefs and seagrass beds. To understand similarities, differences, and relationships between living organisms, we classify and group them. A species is a group of similar organisms that can breed together.
Let's take a look at those turtles. Let's see if we can go right over. Oh, you can even wade down in the water with it if you wanted to. Awesome. Let's see if we can see any of the turtles. Do you see any of the turtles? Look at the cool tropical fish everywhere. Oh, there's one. Oh, they're all hiding. All right. I'm going to close my gate when I leave the Minecraft area here. Remember that right click opens and closes gates and such. Let's see what our next biome is, our next ecosystem. Forest. Awesome.
The Philippine eagle is a bird that hunts small mammals, fish, and other birds. Its physical and behavioral characteristics are example of species adaptations to its environment. The Philippine eagle is a large bird, but its broad wings and squared-off tail allow it to hunt effectively in the forest.
Really cool. Let's see if we can spot one. Oh, there's one right there. I'm going to circle it with my little plus, and then I'll hold still so maybe you can see it. Maybe it'll fly somewhere. Oh, there's another one. All right, well, I guess they're going to sit there. How beautiful. Very cool. A geneticist. Let's find out what geneticists are doing.
Genes contain the special codes that give individuals different characteristics or traits, like eye color in humans. Genetic diversity within a single species creates all the distinct populations, traits, and adaptations, like the thousands of different breeds of dog. Genetic diversity makes every individual unique.
And they've got a code of DNA or strand of DNA out here, which is really neat. I think this is really cool. I've built one of those myself. If you've been in our Minecraft world, you've seen it. It's pretty neat.
Greater genetic diversity allows a species to adapt more readily to changes in its environment. Bison have been reduced to small populations and low genetic diversity. Lower genetic diversity means they are at a greater risk of extinction through catastrophic events like a disease outbreak.
So without that biodiversity, they're less capable of change and adaptation that allow them to survive some of those conditions that might otherwise cause them to go extinct. So as you think about that animal that you're going to create, and we're going to talk about that here in just a minute, I want you to think about what are some of those genetic adaptations or those things that might have occurred that allowed your animal to change or adapt or would have allowed it to change or adapt and not have gone extinct maybe.
The grasslands of the Great Plains form an ecosystem. An ecosystem is the interaction of living things and non-living things in an environment. Many ecosystems can form a biome, which is a specific geographic area known for the plant and animal species living there.
So we're going to take a look real quick at these bison. This is really neat. Used to roam the plains, there were a ton of bisons. And I like this habitat they've created for them. Oh, there we go again, throwing out my cards. All right. I think we've got one more to look at before, maybe two more before we talk about the deforestation zone.
The forest is being destroyed, orangutans are critically endangered and disappearing fast. Explore the forest and help us create a plan to manage the biodiversity. Let's build a sustainable future for the communities, the jungle, and the forest.
Well, that's a cool little, so you can go into this area. Oh, let me turn out I'm guessing there's probably a gate. Yep. And you can go into this area and start thinking about and helping save these orangutans. This is really neat. You can take the path back here. I'm not going to go through and do this entire lesson because we're going to talk about what you're going to build if you so desire here in just a moment. But you can see this construction equipment and what they're talking about. So what would you do? What would be the plan for this? Look at the deforestation. All these places where there used to be trees, places where those orangutans could live. I bet if we look around at these trees, we'll see an orangutan or two. I highly recommend if you get an opportunity, get into this world and experience it. It's absolutely amazing. Come save these orangutans. All right, let's take a look at the last biome I believe we have to look at. Hit my W twice and do a little run action. And just like everything else, I'm going to close that gate. My mom didn't raise me in a barn. All right, last one we're looking at today. This looks like a frozen area, an Arctic biome.
Polar bears are at the top of the Arctic food chain. The flow of energy and food between species forms food chains. Trophic pyramids show how primary producers at the bottom of the pyramid, such as algae, produce energy that flows to the top of the pyramid, to consumers, such as the polar bear.
And they've got a really neat graphic out here we're going to look at that helps you kind of understand what they're talking about there with those producers and those consumers. And so we come out of this area, we can sort of see what they're talking about here. Whoop. Those producers, those algae and so forth that are eaten by the fish are eaten by those penguins that get eaten by those seals that or those sea lions and such that get eaten by the polar bear. And so we just see that food chain, how those go up. And they've got another graphic kind of help make that a little more obvious too, how we see those different elements of the food chain interacting. All right, we're going to talk now about what you can build if you like. So we've come into this world and we've explored these different biomes. We've talked to all the different experts, and now it's time for you to kind of think about what would you like to do with that information. And what I would like for you to consider doing with that information is make an animal of your own. And so you can go into that library, and just like we looked at before, you've got all these great um, lessons, and you can do some really cool stuff. Let me see if I can remember where that, oops, wrong button there. I believe it's in the biology. Oop. It is an additional lessons. I think it's in that one. Nope. Building with bees. They have lots of amazing bee lessons. I'm trying to find where that there's the art and design one. I think it's also accessible through here. It's put it through here. But you can come in here and go to the design and animal. And if you click here, you can create this world. And just like I did with my peacock bird with the antlers, you're going to be able to create your own animal in this world. You can open up your chest. You can select the inventory that you would like to build with. They've got all kinds of cool stuff. Maybe your animal is going to be blues and have some red accents. Maybe you're going to focus on making the skeletal remains like one of those big skeletal bone sculptures. Or maybe you're going to make some type of cool tiger. But you're going to consider how you're going to build. If you've never built before, once you've selected your pieces, you can use that right block to select and set things down. Maybe I've got an animal like that. Let's see, I think I'm gonna put this a little further over here. And move that over just a little bit, and then over there. And now his back legs are closer than his front legs. And so you can see how you can start to build some really cool animal. I'm going to say maybe his legs turn gray as he goes up. And I'm going to make this sort of maybe some cool horse thing. If you press that space bar twice in this world, you should be able to fly. There we go. You can fly around, and that'll allow you to get above and see what it is you're building a little better than just trying to stay on the ground. Also lets you access the top of it and be able to build up higher. And so I'm going to make this maybe a big, heavy animal, big, tall animal. And again, what you build is going to be absolutely up to you and how you build it. And because this is an independent field trip, you don't have to turn anything in. These lessons are things that you can do absolutely on your own, in your own time. You can do these all summer long. Have a lot of fun playing in Minecraft. I'm going to put a tail on mine real quick, and then I'll be done with mine, and you can kind of see what I've created. And again, this one's not, I'm gonna make his nose a little bigger. Give me some. All right, so this is my the beginning of my sort of horse animal maybe that existed at one time. What you create is going to be up to you. Have fun with the Minecraft field trip stuff or the Minecraft lessons. If you ever need help, please feel free to send me an email. But enjoy your summer and have fun building in Minecraft. Enjoy these lessons. Thank you all so much. I look forward to seeing you in our next Minecraft field trip.